Alrighty guys, so we are on our third video of this series of the 10 common mistakes in basic writing. And before we go to our lesson proper for this video, let's first have a pop quiz. So fill in the blanks with the correct form of verbs. Number 1, she write or writes every day. Is it plural with write or singular with writes? Item number 2, the doctoral student and the committee members write or writes every day. Is it plural with write or singular with writes? Item number 3, interviews blank one way to collect data and blank researchers to gain an in-depth understanding of participants. Is and allows or are and allow. Item number 4, the student or the committee members write or writes every day. Is it write with no S or writes with S? And item number 5, diabetes blank many people around the world. Is it affect or affects? So continue watching this video if you want to know how many correct answers you got or how well you performed in our pop quiz. Stick around because I'm going to teach you how to improve your knowledge on subject-verb agreement. That is correct. That is our topic for this third video of our 10 common mistakes in basic writing. And guys, if you don't know me, my name is Maki. I'm a self-proclaimed writer. That's why I am here. But kidding aside, I want to teach you some basic tips and tricks on how you can improve or develop your basic writing skills so that perhaps if you're a student, this will really help you survive school. If you're a professional, this will remind and review you of some basic tips and tricks on how you can improve your writing skills that you can use in your job, whatever it is. I know, guys, that subject-verb agreement is something that has been taught to us ever since we were in elementary and also in high school. And I think that subject-verb agreement is one of the basic topics, one of the basic foundation of learning English and learning how to write. So it's important for me to teach you and remind you to have some knowledge on a subject-verb agreement and how you can pair your nouns with your verbs. Whether it's plural, it should be with plural verbs, and singular nouns with singular verbs. All right. What is it? What is it for writing? What is it for you trying to learn how to write? Well, basically, just like anything else that we have discussed and we will discuss in the future on the 10 common mistakes in basic writing, subject-verb agreement is something that might be a distraction if you got it incorrect or if you got it wrong when you write something, perhaps an output or your academic papers. I know I said that I won't be very much technical on some of the discussions, but for subject-verb agreement, I think that this would be an exception because it's really something that is bound by the rules. So we should be going back to the rules and try to remind ourselves how to properly write our sentences with subject-verb agreement. We will do a quick review. I do hope that you'll stick with me all throughout this, and I assure you that you'll get a lot of lessons. If you know about subject-verb agreement, perhaps this will be something that will remind you as well. Maybe you might have missed something. And if you are a beginner, so this would really help you build a stronger foundation on your subject-verb agreement and in your writing skills in general. So let's go straight to it. I'm reading directly from this website. If you want to check it out, you can access it through this link, but I'm going to read it anyway. We're going to be reviewing the 12 rules on subject-verb agreement. And the very first rule is, of course, if the subject is singular, the verb must be singular too. For example, she writes every day. So she is your noun and writes is your verb. She is singular and writes is singular. Next, if the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. For example, they write every day. So they here refers to two or more people, so it's plural, and the verb must also be plural, therefore, it must be write without s. They write every day. The third rule, when the subject of the sentence is composed of two or more nouns or pronouns connected by and, use a plural verb. For example, the doctoral student and the committee members write every day. So there we have two nouns here, the doctoral student and the committee members. So that's two. Therefore, we should use a plural verb, which is write without s. Another example, the percentage of employees who called in sick and the number of employees who left their jobs within 2 years are reflective of the level of job satisfaction. So we have two nouns here, the percentage and the number. All right. Next rule, when there is one subject and more than one verb, the verbs throughout the sentence must agree with the subject. For example, interviews are one way to collect data and allow researchers to gain an in-depth understanding of participants. So interviews, plural in form, therefore, all the verbs must be plural also. Therefore, we have are and allow. Another example, an assumption is something that is generally accepted as true and is an important consideration when conducting a doctoral study. An assumption is a singular noun, therefore, all the verbs in the sentence must be singular as well. Therefore, we used is. Next rule. When a phrase comes between the subject and the verb, remember that the verb still agrees with the subject, not the noun or pronoun in the phrase following the subject of the sentence. For example, the student, as well as the committee members, is excited. So, disregarding the phrase or the nouns inside the phrase, as well as the committee members, the noun to which your verb must depend on is the first one, which is the student. Next example, the student with all the master's degrees is very motivated. So the same as this one, our noun, which your verb must depend on, is the student and not the master's degrees. Another example, strategies that the teacher uses to encourage classroom participation include using small groups and clarifying expectations. So our focal noun is strategies, which is in plural form. Therefore, our verb is plural as well. Next rule, when two or more singular nouns or pronouns are connected by or, use a singular verb. For example, the chairperson or the CEO approves the proposal before proceeding. All right? Next, when a compound subject contains both a singular and a plural noun or pronoun joined by or nor, the verb should agree with the part of the subject that is closest to the verb. This is also called the rule of proximity. For example, the student or the committee members write every day. For this example, the verb that we used is plural in form, which is write, because the noun closest to the verb is in plural form as well, which is the committee members. Next example, the committee members or the student writes every day. So for this example, we are looking at singular verb, which is writes with S, because the noun closest to it is singular in form, which is the student. So in order for you to easily understand this rule, I have prepared here an example using a formula. So we are using math to learn English. Charot. For our first one here, if you have two singular nouns connected by or plus verb, your verb must be singular. If you have two nouns, one singular and one plural plus verb, if the first noun that you mentioned is singular, the second noun that you mentioned is plural, plus your verb must be plural in form because the noun closer to it is plural. If you have two nouns separated by or, and the first noun that you mentioned is plural in form, and the second noun that you mentioned is singular in form, plus verb, your verb must take a singular form because the noun closer to it is singular in form as well. And then for the last one, if you have two plural nouns separated by or nor plus verb, your verb must take a plural form. Got it? Rule number 8, the words and phrases each one, either, neither, everyone, everybody, anyone, anybody, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one are singular and require a singular verb. So take note of all of those words. For example, each of the participants was willing to be recorded. Neither alternative hypothesis was accepted. So with the use of the word neither, we used the verb was, which is singular in form. Another example, I will offer a $5 gift card to everybody who participates in the study. Everybody participates. Another example, no one was available to meet with me at the preferred times. So no one was. Next rule, non-count nouns take a singular verb. Non-count meaning something that you cannot quantify or something that you cannot literally count. For example, education is the key to success. Education being a concept that you cannot count or quantify is a non-count noun. Therefore, we use a singular verb. Next, the information obtained from the business owners was relevant to include in the study. Next rule. Some countable nouns in English, such as earnings, goods, odds, surroundings, proceeds, contents, and valuables, only have a plural form and take a plural verb. For example, the earnings for this quarter exceed expectations. Next example, the proceeds from the sale go to support the homeless population in the city. So the proceeds, being something that we can count, must be paired with a plural verb. Next rule, this is our 11th rule. In sentences beginning with there is or there are, the subject follows the verb. Since there is not the subject, the verb agrees with what follows the verb. For example, there is little administrative support. Next example, there are many factors affecting the teacher retention. For rule number 11, it says here that the subject follows the verb, since the verb is written first. But you can always adjust your sentence in a way that it will be more comfortable or it will be more effective for you in terms of your message or in terms of how you want to say it. For our last rule, for subject-verb agreement, collective nouns are words that imply more than one person but are considered singular and take a singular verb. Some examples are group, team, committee, family, and class. For example, the group meets every week. So although that the group may be comprised by two or more people, but then it is a collective noun, therefore it must be paired with singular verbs. Another example, the committee agrees on the quality of the writing. The committee being one of the words that we consider collective nouns must be paired with a singular verb. Now there is a note here for rule number 12. The plural verb is used if the focus is on the individuals in the group. So for example, the committee participate in various volunteer activities in their private lives. So in this case, although that we have used the word the committee, and this is considered as a collective noun, if we are referring to actual people or actual individuals, then it must be paired with a plural verb. In order for you not to get confused, you can look at it this way. The committee members, plural, but the committee members belong to the committee, which is one in number. Therefore, it must be paired with a singular verb. Now, what I highly advise for this rule, so you won't get confused, just try to avoid using collective nouns as something that you want to refer to separate individuals. If you want to refer to the individual members of a collective noun, just perhaps use the word members. So for example, the group members, the team members, or the committee members, the family members, or the class students. So in that way, you'll avoid confusion and you can write your sentences in the correct manner. So that's it for our rules on subject-verb agreement. I do hope that you got something out of it to remind you as to what you can do to improve your subject-verb agreement. I know this is a basic skill, but I myself, every once in a while I get very confused with the subject-verb agreement. I still have to go online and check on the rules. So if you're feeling like you know less than others, not to worry because this video is really for you to help you improve and develop your writing skills. Just go ahead and research or read online whenever you get confused. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And also share it with your relatives, share it with your student friends, share it with your professional friends. You know, share it with everybody. I think that, as I've mentioned in our very first video, in our introductory video, every individual or every human being would need to have some skills on basic writing because some certain circumstances would really require us to do basic writing. And if you want to clarify something or if you have any question, please don't hesitate to comment them down below. I'll try to answer them. So see you in our next video. Once again, this is Mackie and have a great day. Bye.